Students, welcome to Educate. Today we'll be tackling work, energy, and power. You already know that for you to be able to move an object, you need to apply a force to it so that it moves. So in actual fact, when you apply a force on an object, you are actually giving it work. So basically, the force that you apply on an object causes the object to have energy enough so that it can move. So to find the work done by a certain force, we say that the basic definition says work is equals to force times the displacement with a cos of theta. So basically, the work that is done, it is otherwise known as the energy transferred. So this is the work done, or you can say this is the energy transferred so that the object can move. So we measure it in joules because remember that the unit for measuring energy is joules. So basically, this force that you apply on an object, it does what? It transfers energy to an object so that the object can move. And then we must also have delta x, which represents the displacement, to say that now your object has moved due to this force. So you plug in your displacement to be able to find the work done. And then you have got cos and theta. We'll discuss angle theta using an example. So let us assume that you have got an object that is on a rough horizontal surface. You do not have to be told that there is friction in this particular case. The moment you hear rough horizontal surface, you already know that this object, as it is moving, it is subjected to frictional force. So let us assume that your object was here initially at point A, and then it is moving to the right to point B. So basically your object moves from point A to point B. So this is its displacement. Let's just assume that the object moved 2 meters from point A to point B. So the displacement in this case is 2 meters. Make sure that whenever you substitute the displacement, it is in meters because that is the standard unit that we use for displacement. So now let's assume that the force that is causing this object to move, it is actually directed to the right. So this is my force applied to the object so that it can move. Just like this duster, for it to move to the right, just like in this object to the duster, as I apply a force applied to it, towards that direction, I'm causing the object to move. And I say that this surface has got friction. It is a rough surface, so there must be frictional force. There must be frictional force. Assuming that I've applied a force of maybe 25 newtons, so let's just say my force applied here is 25 newtons. And then the block experiences a friction of around 3 newtons. Remember, friction is always opposite to the direction of motion of the object. So if the object is going to the right, friction will go to the left. If the object is going to the left, friction will go to the right. So to find my work done here, you don't just say work done, you must specify work done by which force, because this work done is not just energy transferred by some random thing. It is energy transferred by each and every force. So we can try to find the work done by the applied force, or we can find the work done by the frictional force. But how will you even know this? You need to draw a free body diagram. I always emphasize in my videos that for you to be able to tackle mechanics problems, you need a free body diagram. So in a free body diagram, you indicate all the forces that are acting on an object as it moves from point A to point B, which is a displacement of 2 meters. In this case, your object is experiencing a force applied to the right of 25 newtons and a frictional force of 3 newtons to the left. It has got other forces such as the normal force as well as the gravitational force or the weight. Even if they do not ask you to draw the free body diagram, you must always draw it because you would have a slight idea on which forces are acting on the object, and hence those forces will transfer energy. They will cause work to be done on the object as it moves from A to B. So I can try to find the work done by the force applied. I don't just say work done, I've said it's the work done by the force applied to specify that this energy transferred or this work done, it is done by a particular force. In this case, work done by the applied force will be equals to, according to this formula, I will plug in my applied force, multiply with the displacement along the x-axis of what is moving horizontally, right? And then cos of angle theta. So what is my applied force? The force that I've applied to this object is equal to 25 newtons. And then the displacement, as it moves from A to B, it moves 2 meters. So I just say this is 25 newtons times 2 meters. Make sure that the displacement is in meters. And then this is cos of. Now let's talk about the angle. Theta has got two possibilities when it comes to calculating work. Theta can either be 0 degrees or it can be 180 degrees depending on where your force is going. So if the force that you are evaluating, it is going in the same direction as the object's motion, then you're gonna use 0 degrees. For example, right now as I apply a force, the force applied is to the right and the object is also moving to the right as well. So we can say that we're gonna use the angle 0 degrees. So we use 0 degrees if or when the force is going in the same direction as the object. We use 0 degrees. But when it is going the opposite direction, we use 180 degrees. So we've got only two possibilities, 0 and 180 degrees. So 25 multiplied by 2 will just give you 50. And then 50 cos 0 will just be 50. And we measure this in joules. Remember, I said that work done is actually energy transferred. So we measure it in joules. This is the work done by the applied force. We can furthermore even calculate the work done by the frictional force, because frictional force is also a force that is acting on this object. So as the object is in motion, we can find what is the work done by the frictional force. This is the work done by frictional force will be equals to the frictional force multiplied by the same displacement cos of an angle theta. Now, to find it, we're going to say this is the work done by frictional force is equals to, what is the magnitude or the size of the frictional force in this case? It is 3 newtons. Make sure that here you substitute the size of the frictional force. Do not substitute -3 because you have an idea of force being a vector quantity. The fact that you are using this formula, here you substitute the size of the force, the number here on the force. In this case, the frictional force is 3 newtons. And then delta x is the displacement. In this case, we are still using the displacement because we're evaluating the work done by the frictional force as the object moved from A to B, which is a displacement of 2 meters. So there's no need to use a different one. And then this is cos of. Remember, I've said that theta has got two possibilities. It's either it's 0 degrees or it is 180 degrees, depending on the direction of the force. If the force that is causing the work, it is going in the same direction as the object, we have said that we use 0 degrees. But now, if the force is going to the opposite direction as the direction of the movement of the object, we say it's 180 degrees. In this case, look carefully. The object is moving to the right. The object is moving to the right, but frictional force always opposes the motion. Friction always opposes the motion of the object. So as the object is moving in that direction, the frictional force is directed opposite to it. So it must have an angle of 180 degrees. This is just the work done by frictional force. 3 multiplied by 2 is 6, and then cos 180 is negative. So we're going to get -6 joules. Now, don't be tempted to write 6 joules to the left. No, work is not a vector quantity. So basically, work is not a vector quantity. So what does this negative actually mean? This means we've got two types of works. We've got a positive work and we've got a negative work. So how do you even see that is positive and negative? You just look at the answer that you get. If the answer that you get is positive, like this one is positive 50, this is positive work. So we can say that the applied force is doing positive work on an object. If you get a negative answer, then we say that this is negative work. So we can say that the frictional force, it is doing negative work. So do not be tempted to say this is 6 joules to the left because you are used to vectors and stuff. But basically, the difference between positive and negative work is that the positive work, it actually favors the motion. It actually increases the energy. Just like as I'm applying a force to this duster, I am increasing the duster's energy so that it can move. So that's why the force is, the work there is positive, because I'm giving the duster energy so that it can move. Okay, so basically, if we've got positive work done, the positive work always causes the object to move in the direction of that force. But the negative work always tries to bring an object to rest. So the main function of a positive work, it is to favor the object so that it can start moving. Just like as I apply a force to this object, the force that I'm applying is causing the object to move. So it is a positive work. It is putting energy to the object so that the object can move. But the frictional force, it is trying to bring this object to rest. So we can just say the work done by frictional force, or we can say the frictional force itself, it is trying to bring the object to rest. So it is trying to bring the object to rest. So what does this mean? It means if I'm going to throw something, maybe this marker, if I'm going to push it, I push it. Oh, it didn't stop. I wanted it to stop. But basically, let's just assume, let me push this duster. And then it stops. Why didn't it continue moving since I'm putting positive work on it? It is because friction, it is doing negative work. It is trying to bring the object to rest, and it does it successfully. So we already know that whenever we've got frictional force, its main function, it is to try to bring the object to rest. It is to try to stop the object from continuing and moving. So we can actually combine all the forces. But now someone is asking himself, Wuti, why did I not calculate the work done by normal force and the work done by frictional force? Because I only calculated the work done by this force and this force. Now you ask yourself, isn't the gravitational force and the normal force transferring some energy to the object so that it can move? No, the gravitational force is not playing a role, as well as the normal force. It's because these forces actually along the y-axis. They are vertical forces, but our object is moving horizontally. So as long as this object is moving perfectly horizontal like this, there is actually no contribution of the normal force as well as the gravitational force. So for a simple mathematical reason, if they ask you what is the work done by the normal force and the gravitational force for this object as it moves horizontally, it is 0. So basically, how do you give a reason for that in a 2 marks question? You have to say that if a force is perpendicular, listen to me very carefully here, great talks. If a force, or when a force is perpendicular to the motion of the object, then it does no work on the object. That's how you answer those questions. If they ask, why is the work done by normal force on this object 0 joules? Why is it 0 joules? It is because the normal force is perpendicular. The normal force, remember that it's a force that acts perpendicular to the surface of the object. So that's the reason that you're supposed to say. You're supposed to say that the normal force acts perpendicular to the surface. So we will only consider these forces to be the ones that contribute a non-zero work so that the object can move. So we can actually combine the works and make them a network, because we've got different works. We've got my force applied is adding 50 joules, but my friction is actually trying to do what? Is trying to remove 6 joules. So as I add 50 joules, the friction is removing 6 joules from the object continuously. Okay, so I can try to sum up the work and get the net work done. So since we've said that we have got the applied force and the frictional force being the forces that are contributing the work, For us to do the net work done, we are only going to consider the work done by the applied force as well as the work done by the frictional force. Do not count the normal force and the gravitational force in your expression. So we say that the net work done, we say that basically our net work, the net work done on an object will be equals to the work done. In this case, we've got only two forces that are horizontal that will do work on the object. So it's the work done by the applied force plus the work done by the frictional force. Mind you, remember, work is not a vector quantity. I do not want to see you saying negative WFK. This will be abruptly wrong. Okay, so this is work done by applied force plus work done by frictional force. Do not say this is negative work done by frictional force. Okay, the negative will come on its own using this cos 180 degrees. So to find the net work done for this scenario, we will say that the net work will be equals to, you can do the substitution again, or you can just calculate separately and then add the values together. Okay, and then if you do that, you're going to get applied force did 50 joules, positive 50 joules, and then the frictional force did negative 6 joules. So 50 plus negative 6, which is just 50 minus 6, is 44 joules. So the net work done on this object is 44 joules. So do you see that the net work done is positive work? So it means that this work done by the applied force is dominant over the work done by frictional force. That's why the object is still moving. Okay, the object is still moving. It is because the applied force is dominant and it is continuously causing the object to move because it is contributing a bigger work, which is 50 joules, in comparison to the smaller work, which is minus 6 joules by the frictional force. So the moment you are going to cut off that applied force, I'm applying it, the object is still moving and continuously will move. But the moment I stop applying the force, the object will stop. It's because now the frictional force is the one that is left alone and sucks all the energy from the object so that it brings it to rest. Remember, we say that the negative work of the frictional force aims to bring the object to rest. So the other way of calculating this net work done, you can actually calculate the net force. So we have got an other alternative of calculating the work done. So remember, our free body diagram had two horizontal forces. We'll just pay attention to them the most because the normal force and the gravitational force, we've counted them as zero work. So in our free body diagram, we had the force applied and we also had the kinetic friction. This is not drawn to scale. You can see the arrows are kind of wrong, but this is just a schematic example. So this is your normal force, this is your Fg. But we are only considering these forces here, Fk and Fa, those two. So you can find the net force and then try to find the net work. Okay, Fa, we have said that we are using 25 newtons. So we know that the applied force there is 25 newtons to the right. This is a force, right? So this is 25 newtons to the right. And then the kinetic friction there, we have said it is 3 newtons to the left. So here, what will happen? To calculate the net force, you would just combine them. So F net there, when you are combining forces, that's when you consider direction. But when you are combining works, you do not consider direction. Force is a vector quantity. So here you have got 25 newtons, the applied force, plus negative 3 newtons, the frictional force. So the net work done on this object is 25 minus 3, which is 22 newtons. So 22 newtons to the right, it is the net force on the object. How do you then use that to find the net work? Now that you have the net force, now that you have the net force applied on an object or the net force exerted on an object, you can use this original formula and say the work done will be equals to F delta X cos theta. But now we are looking for what? For the net work done. So you would say this is the net work done is equals to the net force multiplied by the displacement. and then this is cos of theta. All right, bear in mind, you still consider the directions carefully. So this is the network, and then the net force that we have found is 22 newtons to the right. So this is 22 newtons to the right. Then our displacement, the object, remember we said that it's going to move how many? 2 meters to the right. So the object is moving 2 meters to the right. That's its displacement. And then this is cos of. Which angle are you going to put here? Remember, the net force is going to the right. And the object is also going to the right as well. So this is cos of 0 degrees. Remember that when the force and the displacement of the object are going in the same direction, then we can use 0 degrees. So 22 minus 2 will give us a network of 44 joules, which is exactly the same as the network that you get by adding the different works. So this is basically how you deal with work. In our next video, we'll probably be looking at the work energy theorem and the applications. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for watching. Don't forget to subscribe.